What's up, gamers? I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. So today, we are going to be following up on a video I made not too long ago, and we are going to be talking about the man, the myth, the legend himself, no name here. Or as I like to call him, no integrity here. Now, for context, I recently made a video responding to No Name Here's response to Batakanta's response to Clam Rally's video on the point system. If you have not watched that video, I would recommend checking it out. Well, a couple hours after that video went up, No Name Here actually showed up in my comments section, and he crashed out harder than American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the fucking Twin Towers. And at first, I was just trying to talk things out with him in the comments section, but then he's literally started resorting to outright lying about me. And when I called him out on his bullshit, he continued to lie even harder. It didn't take me long to realize that I could very easily make that into an angry comments video, but there were a couple other things I wanted to do first, and then I sort of forgot about it. Until very recently, when I was scrolling Twitter, you know, rookie fucking mistake on my part, and I saw this post. And any respect that I still had for this motherfucker dried up immediately on the spot. If you've had the misfortune of interacting with the COD Zombies community as of late, then you probably know who MrTLexify is, and you probably also know that he had allegations thrown at him last year by his ex. These allegations, however, are completely false, but because of the wonderful world we live in, motherfuckers on Twitter are still running with these allegations as if they haven't been completely disproven, including this dipshit, the Ghost of Hope, who is one of those quote-unquote industry insiders that makes their living by posting fake-ass leaks about Call of Duty. And while he doesn't explicitly state that Lex is a pedo, he certainly implies it through the joke he's making. And then No Name Here quote tweets it saying, "Every day is National Clown Lex Day." Now, I want to make something clear right out the gate. I don't really like Lex. I think his content is shit, not to mention he apparently got caught stealing content. So yeah, I don't fucking like him. And it's for those reasons, as well as many other, that No Name Here also does not like Lex. Which, that much is fine. But that is no fucking excuse to weaponize his false allegations. The fact that he is stooping to that level over this shit is absolutely fucking disgusting. Make no mistake, there are plenty of things that you can criticize Lex for doing. And if you were clowning on him for that, I honestly would not give a shit. But this says a lot about him as a person, so I just want to let y'all know that this is the kind of motherfucker we're dealing with. And funnily enough, this isn't even the first time he's done something like this. In Batakanta's response to No Name Here, he pointed out how he similarly used his allegations as a gotcha during a situation regarding how safe it was to play Black Ops 3 online on PC.
But his demeanor completely eclipses anything I've said, since he feels the need to lie and cut out context when things don't go the way he wants them to. Which is funny, because here I thought he was against misinformation, so much so that he is willing to use someone being falsely accused of pedophilia as a gotcha against them, all because they spread misinformation about a video game. And yes, that did actually happen.
I would have thought you would have known to be more careful about what you say, because someone who wasn't tried to fuck you over.
But according to Batakanta, No Name Here actually took accountability for that, and so I figured, you know what, maybe we can all learn from something and move on. But now he's pulling this shit, you know, good to see that that's a fucking lie. So naturally, when I saw this, I confronted him about it. Still weaponizing false pedo allegations, I see.
Still riding my dick, I see. It's also really funny when you say shit like that when I've never actually called him that or said it was true. I have been openly bipartisan on that for a reason, but it's okay. Keep riding it and I'm sure you'll get somewhere. Kinda weird that you'll go out of your way to defend him like that. Kinda says a lot about your character, but that's okay. Especially just because you think I called you stupid, but you do you.
Now, you might have noticed something about this if you have a keen eye. I'll give you a few seconds. 3, 2, 1. He deleted the fucking post. How very interesting. And yet he still feels the need to retort like a fucking middle schooler. I also find this next part to be really fucking rich, where he acts like he's been bipartisan on the issue and hasn't said that these allegations were true, which, sure, you can say he never explicitly stated whether he thought the allegations were true or not. But when you're signal boosting a post that's trying to use these false allegations against him, and you're responding with positive feedback, then it's very clear that you're in support of that shit, which is just absolutely disgusting. And then he says that it says a lot about my character that I'm willing to defend Lex on this, which, you know, I actually do agree with this one. It does say a lot about my character. More specifically, it says I'm not some fucking dunce who's gonna throw around false pedo allegations for no reason other than to clown on somebody, rather than because the allegations are actually true. Like, dude, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Brother Near when we were going back and forth regarding a British potato. If somebody is truly as bad as you think they are, then you shouldn't have to make shit up about them to make them look bad. Their terrible actions should speak for themselves. All you are doing is poisoning actual discourse around what Lex has done. And this last part also says a lot about his character, where he thinks I'm only calling him out because he thinks that I think that he called me a dumbass, which I'll elaborate more on what that's talking about when we get to his crash out in the comments of my video. But needless to say that if he genuinely thinks that this is the reason that I'm calling him out and not the fact that he actually did something horrible, then for fuck's sake, this just means that I've been living rent-free in this dude's head ever since I made my video on him. You seriously think that that's what this is about? Hate to break it to you, but not everything revolves around you. I honestly don't give a rooster's ass if you like Lex or not. Hell, I don't like him either, but that does not excuse weaponizing his false allegations. Also, if that wasn't the clear and obvious implication of you praising someone for clowning on Lex by using those false allegations, then why did you delete your post? So, what do you think his response to this was? Was it A, taking accountability, B, just ignoring what I said, or C, acting like a fucking toddler?
Bro, get off the internet! Jesus Christ, like you're actually pathetic! And I deleted my post because I'm tired of talking about it! Either way, fuck off!
Which, when translated from Cope to English, just means that he got caught fucking up. He knows it, but he's just simply too proud to admit it, so he's just gonna delete the post in hopes that nobody will notice. Well, too fucking bad, cause I already fucking noticed. You know, I find it funny that you're telling me to get off the internet when you're the one that's weaponizing false pedo allegations. If anyone here is pathetic and needs to get off the internet, it's you. Which brings us back to his little crash out in my comments, which I just want y'all to be prepared because the amount of salt in this dude's Cope session is enough to supply McDonald's for over a year.
Did I not address me talking about Lex within my own video?
Did I not fucking address why it's still hypocritical regardless? Like, yeah, sometimes it did go beyond petty video game shit, but the clips that I showed in my video were in the context of you insulting him over video games, so my point still fucking stands.
I mean, I did cross a line once or twice, I can admit that, but yet again, calling a liar and trying to act like I'm openly disingenuous when you cut out my own clips.
Alright, I'm gonna stop you right there. I only cut out 3 clips from your entire video, and of those 3 clips, 2 of them were when you actually had a good point, and I couldn't really add anything of value other than saying, I think you have a good point here. And then the last one was you playing a clip of another Clam Rally video near the end, which really wasn't relevant to my response. There was no context in any of those clips that were relevant to my responses to you. Unlike you, who cut out clips from Batakanta's video where he addresses things that you claimed that he didn't address. So all I can say is,
projection detected, opinion rejected.
And make up imaginary arguments that Batakanta didn't even make in his own video.
Okay, so this Drunkenstein Thunderstruck came up to me and said, alright, if you hear my recorded camera here for my video. And well, basically, he wants me to give my input on No Name here, accusing him of making up arguments I didn't make in response to his response, to my response, to Clam Rally's video. And I have gone back through Thunderspark445's video, just for this, and basically the closest he got to anything along those lines is interpreting something I said differently than what I had in mind, but he never strayed away from the overall point that I was arguing, that being that progression and the means by which you get points are entirely different things. But then again, I do not see why this is even being brought up in the first place. Just for the record, the only part of that conversation, like between Thunderstruck and No Name here, that I saw was Thunderstruck calling him out for giving positive reinforcement to a motherfucker spreading Lex's false pedophile accusations. Yeah, we're still on that fucking shit. It also doesn't help that the retarded fucking question is Ghost of fucking Hope. You know, the guy whose entire online personality is attention seeking by lying about being an industry insider and feeding bullshit fake leaks to the content deprived Call of Duty YouTubers, because no one gives a fuck about the salted veal apparently. And well, those fucking glitches consist of shit like Modern Warfare 2 having a kill streak called Cluster Spike. Because that should totally happen, am I right? But I guess that wasn't enough for him, so now he's going around calling people pedophiles for no fucking reason. Because that's totally the kind of person we wanna simp over, am I right? So in saying that, I literally have no fucking clue why my video is even being brought up. So that's gonna be as much a surprise to me as it was for all of you, that's for sure.
Well, dude, there you go. Straight from the mouth of the guy that was making those arguments in the first place. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm far more willing to trust him over somebody that's a known fucking liar and weaponizes people's false pedo allegations. And so, we are going to introduce the lie counter for this video, so that's one right there.
90% of my insults you show is literally me poking fun at my own fucking friends or calling the arguments in specific dumb. I don't insult the person.
This dude makes absolutely no fucking sense. So he's saying he doesn't insult the person. Well, unless of course it's Lex, because, you know, he fucking deserves it. But otherwise he doesn't insult them, but, you know, he does poke fun at his friends, and he calls their arguments dumb, but, you know, he's still totally not fucking insulting them. You know, I still find it hilarious when he said he's just poking fun at his friends, when literally Batakanta was also poking fun at these people. That's what he does in his fucking responses. And yet you're clutching pearls over him doing the same thing that you do by your own fucking admission. And also, I'm gonna press a huge fucking X to doubt on these people actually being your friends. Far more likely, this is just one of those parasocial relationships that terminally online motherfuckers mistake for friendship, where they think some random motherfucker on the internet is their friend simply because they talk with them on YouTube or Discord and happen to share some common interests, rather than, you know, actually knowing the fucking person. But I'm getting a little off topic. Point is, if you're allowed to poke fun at these people, then so is Batakanta. You do not get to clutch pearls over this shit.
Fuck, even the BWT6 clip you played, I'm not even insulting him?
Now, for context, this is the clip he is referring to.
Yeah, because slapping an ugly-ass piece of tape on your gun really solves the non-problem. Like, this would make every gun look ugly as shit.
Now, admittedly, I maybe could have made this a bit more obvious, but the insult here that I'm referring to is not really anything that he says, but rather this little fucking edit that he does over the dude's head, which is typically done when you're insulting somebody's intelligence, which, I mean, this edit is fucking harmless, you know? Just a little jab making fun of somebody, really. And normally, I wouldn't really give a shit about this, or any of the other insults he's throwing for that matter, except for the fact that he's clutching pearls over Batakanta doing the same thing.
You even try to insinuate I'm even mad over jokes, when all I do is make fun of how not funny his own jokes are?
Well, it certainly came across as you getting pissed off over it, but looking back on it, I guess I can see how it's also might just be that either, so, you know what, I'll give that one to you.
Also, the scumbag shit I was talking about wasn't even the allegations. If you watched the Cut the Crap video, you would have fucking known.
Hey, buddy, I've got news for you. I wasn't responding to the Cut the Crap video, now was I? I was responding to your video on Batakanta, and all you left it as was, he's done horrible shit. The only other thing that you brought up is that he spreads misinformation, but considering that that misinformation he spreads is solely on video games, I'd hardly consider that to be horrible shit. And really, the only hot water that I knew that Lex was in, otherwise, was, of course, his allegations. I didn't know about him fucking stealing content being the reason that you were referring to, but at the same time, you could have alleviated a lot of confusion if you just briefly mentioned he stole other people's content. Like, if you yourself don't clarify about what you mean by him doing horrible shit, then you can't get mad at other people for making assumptions.
You had time to find out-of-context clips, but not the time to process what I am even talking about. On top of that, the people I did insult were fucking Blame Truth, Lex, Batakanta, and J-Rants, which I myself even explained why in Cut the Crap.
Well, actually, in your Cut the Crap video, you only explained it for Lex and J-Rants, but let's not get hung up on the finer details. Now, interesting thing about this portion of his response, it actually was not there when he posted this comment originally. In fact, he didn't clarify anything about his Cut the Crap video until some replies later. But then he went back and edited his original comment to make it seem like it was there from the beginning. But to address what he's saying, when it comes to Lex, the horrible shit that he was doing was stealing people's content, and I'm not just talking about his shitty reaction content on Lex Lounge, but apparently he also stole people's thumbnails and video footage, footage, so yeah, that's fucking scummy of Lex. Not that that really matters, considering that none of the clips I showed of him insulting Lex were in the context of him stealing content, it was in the context of him getting shit wrong regarding video games, so my point still stands. As for J-Rants, the only thing you said was that he was Blame Truth's failed abortion and that he also makes shit content and he yaps a lot. And sure, he also got shit wrong in regards to video games, that is true, but the thing is, so did fucking Clam Rally, and yet despite that, you went after Batakanta for similarly hurling insults at him like you hurl insults at all these people. As for Blame Truth, you did not mention him at all in your fucking Cut the Crap video outside of describing J-Rants as Blame Truth's failed abortion. To my knowledge, the only time you did talk about him was in your fucking tier list video, which is where I got one of my clips, by the way, and all you elaborated on was that he makes shit content. So if you think Batakanta throwing insults at Clam Rally was wrong, then by that same logic, you hurling insults at all those people, besides maybe Lex, is also wrong. And it's not just them, you've also thrown insults at other people like Beware the Six, Donuts, Clam Rally, as well as myself and another dude named Jamie on your fucking live stream.
Do not try to act like the line I've set I've actively crossed again and again when that's not true.
No, I'm gonna continue to act like that because it is true, as I've just explained.
Everything I have done or said has clearly gone over your own head in the same way you try to classify me.
And yet you don't show any examples outside the one thing with Lex, which even then was kind of on you for not elaborating in your video in the first place.
Batakanta's response was way better and your input was unnecessary and ridiculous.
No, let's be honest, the real reason you think Batakanta's response was better is simply because there were points where he actually agreed with you, as well as the fact that he was nowhere near as harsh as I was. But I also want to point out a little bit of irony. So remember when he said earlier that he wasn't actually mad over the jokes and that he was just making fun of how unfunny they are and that went over my head? Well, funnily enough, Batakanta not only made the same argument in his response, but also spent a lot more time elaborating on it than I did, and yet I don't fucking see him bitching about it under his comment section. I mean, I guess he did technically mention it, but he wasn't throwing a fucking hissy fit like he is in mine.
Thanks, but no thanks. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong and improving, but everything you've said is not only out of context, but insanely disingenuous.
Example? Care to back up what you're saying with a source? Oh, wait a minute, I think we all know what his fucking source is.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
At least with Batakanta's response, I knew what to improve on as a creator, but with you, absolutely not. This isn't even worth a video response from me.
It's not worth a video response from you, and yet somehow it's also worth you writing this entire ass paragraph in my comments, plus God knows however many fucking replies you left under. Honestly, dude, if you were gonna spend this much time fucking yapping in my comments section, you might as well have just made it a fucking video, because at least that way you can milk that shit for views and ad revenue. But you don't get that when you choose to leave this giant ass comment as well as, Jesus Christ, 13 fucking replies. Holy shit. Several of which weren't even directed at me, they were directed at my viewers. But honestly, dude, thank you for crashing out of my comments because it actually provided a really nice engagement boost to my video, plus it even gives me an opportunity to make even more quality ass content by covering it. So congratulations, you played yourself. Also, if you had no idea what to improve on as a creator by watching my video, then clearly you were not paying any fucking attention whatsoever, because here's a couple that I can list off the top of my head. Don't cut people out of context. Actually read the fucking screenshots that you're throwing on screen. Don't bitch about other people throwing insults over video game discussion when you yourself also throw insults over video game discussion. Don't be a hypocrite by bitching about someone's counter argument that you yourself use in response to the same point. Use a tool to download the videos that you're going to respond to instead of screen capping them so you don't get shitty video and audio quality. And those are just the ones I remember off the top of my head. I'm sure if I rewatch my video, I could probably come up with a couple more. So these first few replies, we were mainly talking about Lex, where he clarified to me that the horrible shit he was referring to was Lex stealing content, because at the time, his little part about this Cut the Crap video wasn't in his original comment since he edited it in after the fact. Ah, okay, that makes more sense. However, none of the clips that I showed of you insulting Lex were in the context of you calling him out for stealing content. It was in the context of video games. It also still doesn't explain the people in your live streams though, such as myself when I was bringing up the always online requirement and how it caused lag in solo and you straight up called me a dumbass for it. So at this point, I still thought I could talk civilly with this dude. Sure, he was upset, but if he was willing to clarify the shit about Lex, I figured maybe we could move forward somehow. Instead, he decided to prove that he was an even bigger fucking liar than I originally thought.
Brother, you come into my streams all the time to openly start shit. Sorry I called you a dumbass, but I was already frustrated at the time and I was streaming for over 14 hours straight. I think you could cut me some slack on that.
And that is 3 more lies that we get to add to the lie counter. The first one is the one where he said he had been streaming for 14 hours at that point, which that's not true. I mean, the total length of the stream was about 12 hours, but I joined in about hour 5, and that's when that shit happened. Second of all, this dude is not sorry at all about calling me a dumbass, because in his next couple replies, he's gonna completely deny that he called me a dumbass, so are you sorry, or did it not happen? And the third is the one where I go into his streams all the time to openly start shit, which is a blatant fucking lie. I've only tuned into his streams like 4 or 5 times, and of those times, there is only 1 time that you could argue that I started shit in a stream. And that was the one when we had our little spat regarding Forced Online. Bit of context on that. The day that this happened, I had earlier done a live stream myself where I was playing Black Ops 6 Zombies, because the game had just launched that day, assuming of course you did the New Zealand trick, and I played Black Ops 6 Zombies, or, well, at least I tried to, but if you recall, I wasn't able to play for more than a few minutes because... Oh my god, what the hell? Oh my god. After the stream happened, I saw that No Name Here was streaming, which, by the way, if you saw my video about the Forced Online bullshit in Black Ops 6 Zombies, this is the same stream that I was responding to in that video. Now, seeing as No Name Here is a COD Zombies focused channel, and the game had just released and I played it, I figured I would share my experience with the game. And then he went off on me and started defending that shit. And yeah, that is the one example of me quote-unquote starting shit in this fucking live stream, which even then, I wasn't doing it just to start shit. I was doing it because I had just played the game and I wanted to share my experience on it. You're the one that blew up on me. Now, there was one other time where we did argue back and forth on stream about the same topic, and this happened about 2 weeks prior to this. But in that case, I'm not the one that started that shit. I was already in the stream for about like an hour prior to that argument starting, and then No Name Here is the one that brought that subject up, and basically said that if you weren't personally affected by it, that you didn't have a right to complain. Naturally, I heavily disagreed with that, so I brought that up in the chat, and then that resulted in a back and forth. However, me responding to something that the streamer said while live streaming is not starting shit in any capacity. I don't go into your fucking live streams all the time just to start shit, and the fact that you're trying to claim that I am really says a lot about your character if you're willing to resort to fucking lying over internet drama on video games. And no, this is not just a simple slip-up, this is an intentional lie because he doubled down on it when one of my viewers confronted him as well. You're still a hypocrite for complaining about insults. Also, I don't exactly think complaining about Forced Online causing lag in solo play once in your chat is constantly starting shit, lol. This is embarrassing, man. You had a bad take, people criticized your behavior, and rightfully called you out for being a hypocrite. Get over yourself and take the L.
Once? He's come on multiple times. What are you talking about?
Just in case you are at all confused on if this was intentional or just a mistake. It's really fucking ironic too, because this dude likes to bitch about Lex spreading misinformation over video games, when here he is spreading misinformation over actual people, which is way fucking worse. Bro, what? You started going off on me because I pointed out how Forced Online caused me to lag like crazy in solo, and you had a mental breakdown over it instead of actually addressing my argument. Outside of our little spat on that topic, I honestly have no idea what you mean by me starting shit on your streams. Frankly though, I don't really give a shit if you want to call me a dumbass as long as you're not bitching about other people throwing insults.
What? I just watched that clip back. I wasn't even talking about you. When I agreed with the fucking P-brain statement as a joke, it was about the dude who came into the stream insulting me and calling me an Activision shill. Yet again, context, you lack it.
I lack context? Buddy, I was fucking there when it happened. I have the context. Also, the P-brain statement wasn't even what I was fucking talking about. I was talking about a completely different point entirely. But shit gets even worse, so let me go ahead and read the next part of this comment, and then let me explain what's wrong with it.
When I said you can't use this dumbass, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about the Jamie dude who came into the stream insulting me and starting shit. I didn't even call you that. Plus, it was literally 1 in the morning. The fact that both you and Batakanta use that against me is insane when I wasn't even fucking calling you that.
You wanna know what's funny? This part of his comment wasn't there originally. He went back and edited his comment to add this after I clarified which clip I was talking about. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the lie counter. But no, the P-brain statement is not what I was fucking talking about. It was this clip.
Yeah, literally, like, a Thunderstruck, you chose the worst piece of evidence and the worst time to try to disprove the point on always online. You chose the absolute worst try. You do not want this dumbass to be your main source of, like, this is my time to shine. It's not your time to shine. This is stupid.
Now, under normal circumstances, I could see the whole you don't want to use this dumbass as a reference to Jamie and not me, except there's one small problem with that statement. Jamie was not talking about Forced Online at all. What he was talking about was Activision allegedly selling cheats for Warzone, which, yes, it's as fucking stupid as it sounds. I went back to the stream in question and started watching from about half an hour before I joined the stream, so this was around like the 4 hour and 45 minute mark. Jamie shows up at the 5 hour and 2 minute mark where he starts talking about Activision supposedly selling cheats for Warzone, and then the two of them go back and forth on that. I joined the stream at about the 5 hour and 13 minute mark, or at least that's when my first chat message appears anyway. And the clip that I showed of him insulting me was a little bit before the 5 hour and 16 minute mark. The topic of Always Online in Black Ops 6 wasn't even brought up until I brought it up on stream when I joined. If Jamie was talking about it, then it was at a point significantly earlier in the stream, so much so that the conversation around that had already died down long before I had joined it, and it would be fucking stupid to assume that I would be using him as a source for Always Online. Not to mention the fact that I never once referenced Jamie in any of my chat messages, and instead I was referencing my own experience with the game, as I stated multiple times in the fucking live stream chat, so acting like I was referencing Jamie as a source to say that you were calling him a dumbass on the topic is just absolutely fucking absurd. So that dumbass was clearly directed at me and not Jamie, which means you lied, because the only other alternative is far worse, and that would be that you are literally hallucinating things that he never said, and in that case, you need to seek psychiatric help immediately, and I am being 100% serious when I say that. More likely, though, he's just fucking lying again, so that's another one for the lie counter. But even if we were to play hypothetical and say that you were insulting Jamie and not me, that doesn't really change the overall point. The point is, you're still throwing insults at people on your live streams while also bitching that Batakanta is throwing insults in his videos. That is the main point that Batakanta and I were making in our responses to you, and at that point, it really doesn't matter if you were throwing insults at me or at Jamie. Either way, you're still a fucking hypocrite. We can also add another part to the lie counter where he said it was 1 in the morning at the time, which, no, it fucking wasn't. Because at the 4 hour and 47 minute mark, you can see his desktop, and at the bottom right, it displays the time, which reads as 1:40 p.m., as in the afternoon, not in the fucking morning. Which, this was just shy of about half an hour before that clip happened, so it would have been a little bit after 2 p.m., which means it would have been the middle of the fucking afternoon. And I honestly don't know why this dude would lie about something that's not only really easy to disprove, but also just fucking pointless. Like, what does he gain from it being a different time? Really just goes to show you what a pathological liar this dude is. Now, if you've been paying attention, you might have noticed that there's something missing from that little reply. Take a wild guess what it is? Oh yeah, that's right. Examples of me coming into his fucking stream to start shit. And you wanna know why they're missing? It's because outside that one example that I outlined earlier, it doesn't fucking exist. So I clarified to him which clip I was talking about, and then I also asked him again what his fucking examples were of me coming in to start shit in the stream. And then he said,
Jamie was literally talking about Always Online and fucking anti-cheat and all that shit. That came into the conversation before you even joined the fucking stream. Context is crazy.
Once again, another thing to add to the lie counter. Always Online was not in the conversation. Jamie was talking about selling cheats in fucking Warzone, not the Always Online. Or if he was, then again, it was at a point significantly earlier in the stream, and it had left the conversation long before I rejoined it and brought it into the conversation. And even then, I couldn't find any messages from Jamie before the 5 hour and 2 minute mark. And even after then, none of them were about Always Online. And I only went back and rewatch from the 4-hour, 45-minute mark onwards, because I'm not about to sit through 5 fucking hours of this dude's stream just to verify this. Even then, I did skip around a bit to see if I could find any messages, but no luck there. So, unless you could point to me where in the stream Jamie was talking about Always Online, this is just a straight fucking lie from you. You mentioned my name specifically in that clip I was talking about. If you weren't talking about me, you wouldn't have brought my name into it. Plain and simple.
No, you just have terrible comprehension skills. Like, I mentioned you are name because I'm talking to you. That doesn't mean I called you a dumbass. Now I'm starting to think that because I could not explain this shit more clearly, that this is literally a joke at this point.
Okay, now you're just either blatantly lying or you have the worst articulation known to man, because anyone watching the stream would have assumed you were talking about me. Also, I'm still not seeing you give any examples of me coming into your streams all the time to openly start shit. Now, given that this is like the 4th fucking time that I've asked him to give examples of me starting shit, what do you think he says? Oh yeah, that's right.
Nothing!
This dude once again completely dodges the question.
I'm not lying. Don't blame me for your comprehension skills. Plus, it was literally a live stream. If you thought I called you that, you could have asked me on the stream and I would have clarified.
Glad to see my question about me supposedly starting shit all the time on your streams isn't being touched with a 10-foot pole. Also, you're just arguing in circles at this point. Yeah, this dude just starts arguing in fucking circles at this goddamn point. Also, he says I could have asked him on his live stream if he was directing it at me, but to that I say, why the fuck would I do that? I honestly did not have an issue with you calling me a dumbass at the time. Now, sure, I had an issue with the fact that you were choosing to do that instead of addressing my arguments that I was making regarding Forced Online, but the insult itself isn't really what bothered me. And the only reason I'm taking issue with it now is because you are clutching pearls over Batakanta throwing insults at Clam Rally. Meanwhile, you also throw insults at people both in your videos and your live streams when the person is there and trying to actually have a discussion. And that's really the main thing why I'm bringing up your insults. If you were not clutching pearls over Batakanta throwing insults at Clam Rally, then I honestly would not give a shit. But yeah, this dude doesn't have any more comments after that. So, to sum things up, No Name here completely lacks integrity, is a liar, and will make shit up about people over fucking video game drama just to get a W over them. On top of that, he will also weaponize people's false pedo allegations over internet beef. As we saw with Lex, not only does this dude not deserve a platform on YouTube, but he is just a horrible person in general, and if he wants to improve, he needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror, reevaluate what he's doing, and make some major course corrections. But when he's unable to hear basic criticism and even resorts to outright lying about me when I give criticism, it really shows that he is not capable of doing so. And at this point, this dude should really just get the fuck off the internet. And frankly, I also think he should seek some psychiatric help. I was being 100% serious earlier, but if this is what he's willing to resort to over petty internet drama over video games, then I can only imagine what he would do over something that's actually serious. And for that, this dude genuinely needs some fucking help. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more, and tell me what you think of No Name here continuing to dig that hole for himself. Anyways, that's it. Peace!